everyone, it's Maki. The story of Hathaway's Rush is becoming increasingly exciting. A new visitor bonus has been distributed in theaters across Japan. It's an 18-page booklet of concept art, co-design works. While detailed settings such as those for mobile suits are not included, this is a very valuable bonus for people who enjoy artistic illustrations. It isn't clear what form the bonus will take if it is released in countries outside of Japan, but I hope you will try your best to get it. Today, I would like to focus on an element called Hathaway scene. It is an extremely important and wonderful element. Because of this element, I believe the second Hathaway's Rush film is a masterpiece. Please be careful. This time, I will discuss major spoilers from the movie. I will also discuss spoilers related to the ending of the novel. If you want to watch the movie without knowing anything about it beforehand, it would be better to skip today's program. Now, the Earth Federation forces are building facilities to defend the Hathaway Conference. Support the construction of these facilities by joining the 99 cents per month membership program. As a thank you, you will receive a name badge and comment stamps. Now, let's begin the analysis. I briefly discussed this topic on my program previously. It's about Hathaway's emotional scars. Originally, Hathaway's Rush was written as a sequel to Belto Chica's Children, the novel version of Shaw's counterattack. In Belto Chica's Children, Hathaway kills Quest with his own hands. This tragedy leaves Hathaway with a fatal illness. As he continues his activities as Mafti, he hears Quest's voice. She says, "You are the one who killed me." Hearing these words causes Hathaway to suffer even more. However, Hathaway's Rush is produced as a sequel to Shaw's counterattack. It was not Hathaway who took Quest's life. It was actually Chinage, Amorway's lover. After Quest is killed, Hathaway impulsively attacks her. As a result, she loses her life. This kind of difference exists between the two versions of the story. Some fans were paying close attention to how this different element would be portrayed. I am one of them. In the second film, we see a truly wonderful piece of direction. At the climax of the story, Hathaway battles Lane. When the armor of the large mobile suit, the Arazas, is destroyed, another mobile suit appears from inside. Hathaway sees the mass production type new Gundam. Equipped with a new thruster called the Shelf Nozzle, the mass production type new Gundam closely resembles the original new Gundam. Seeing the figure, Hathaway becomes confused and begins fighting Amro, who should not be there. The conversation between Amro and Hathaway is also extremely important here. Please pay close attention to the audio as well. This is the audio of the scene in which Amro speaks to Hathaway. If you listen carefully, you will notice that Hathaway and Amro's voices sound at the same time. Gradually, Hathaway's voice becomes louder. In other words, the words spoken in this scene are actually words that Hathaway is directing toward himself. Hathaway speaks the same words that Sharazanova once spoke. Amro denies Hathaway saying those words are his ideology. This is an example of a directing technique called an unreliable narrator. It causes a small misunderstanding for the audience. At the climax of the argument, Amro and Quest call Hathaway's name. Hathaway, confused, responds, "Stop, don't call the name." As I mentioned earlier, Amro and Hathaway's voices sound at the same time. Some viewers may have interpreted Amo's words as a rejection of Shah's opinion. However, the meaning of the line "stop, don't call that name" in this scene is different. Hathaway acting as Maki is rejecting his true self, Hathaway. This interpretation aligns with what I discussed yesterday regarding Hathaway acting out the roles others expect of him. It is an extremely complex scene. I highly recommend watching it repeatedly in the theater. Then, the audience is presented with the scenery deep within Hathaway's heart. This is an extremely important moment. Images are shown that feel like a recollection of Shah's counterattack. We see Hathaway being struck by his father, right? We see Hathaway enduring suffering while his mother Mirari gently rubs his back. Then, the face of Chain Nagi appears. It is important that in the scene where Hathaway remembers Chain's face, we do not see her face straight on, but only partially. Hathaway is in a state where he cannot fully remember her face. There has not yet been an official explanation for this scene released. Please understand that what I am about to share is my personal interpretation. It is most likely that this scene represents a time when the fact that he killed Chain has been revealed. The jet gun that Hathaway pilots is an officially adopted mobile suit of the Earth's Federation forces. Naturally, any footage from inside the cockpit would have been recorded. The fact that Hathaway lost control and killed Chain has already been revealed to the Earth's Federation forces. Taking military equipment without authorization and killing a soldier are extremely serious crimes. It would not be surprising if he received the maximum punishment. However, Hathaway was trained to be a plant inspector. As mentioned in the story, obtaining a job that allows you to work on Earth is a great privilege in the universal century world. So why would Hathaway, who should not be surprised to receive a long prison sentence, be given such treatment? There is also a hint about this in his conversation with Amore. As I mentioned earlier, Amo's words are Hathaway's words. Hathaway speaks in a way that suggests it was painful for him to be treated kindly. He also says things that can be interpreted as him accepting the role of Mufti as atonement. From this, I came to one possible conclusion. Hathaway used the authority and influence of Wright, a heroic military officer, to conceal his crime. However, Hathaway himself did not want to escape his sin. Without receiving a proper judgment, Hathaway's heart was wounded even more deeply. I call this Hathaway's sin. The conversation with Admiral Ray does not exist in the novel version. It was added when the film version was produced. It's wonderful that adding this element gave the story new discoveries and greater depth. For this reason, I believe the second Hathaway's Flash film is a masterpiece. Adding elements not present in the original work is a technique used not only in the Gundam series, but also in many other creative works. However, this often disappoints fans. In Hathaway's Flash, though, this technique succeeded in creating new value and discoveries. Do you remember the line Hathaway spoke in the first film? It was a line that meant exceptions are created. It was directed at the situation in which the privileged class tried to monopolize Earth. However, based on what we discussed in today's program, a different interpretation may emerge if you observe it. Hathaway used the authority of the privileged class to conceal his own crime. This interpretation also matches the situation very well. In the second film, Hathaway says at this rate, "I will not be saved." he sheds tears and agonizes while pressing his arm against the wall. What does salvation mean for Hathaway? Considering everything we have discussed so far, it means receiving proper judgment. This aligns with the event that occurs at the climax of the story. The final scene of Hathaway's Rush is often described as tragic. However, the ending of the film version might be a happy one. However, it would not be a typical or ordinary happy ending. If you understand Hathaway's sin and what he truly wishes for, you should be able to understand why. Let's witness the conclusion of his story together. Thank you for watching until the end. I will see you again in the next program.